Boom! We are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, stealing dildos from a cop car. It's Zach Elias. What's up, buddy?
Never convicted.
Apparently the guy who did got very convicted.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. All of it.
Which is kind of nuts, and I have stuff to talk about New York City just losing their goddamn minds these days. That was a story where like, no, Sarge, we cracked the case on this one.
Yeah. It's hard-hitting news. I'd rather have that as my case. All cops make the same, apparently, across their So you could be, like, in the South Bronx getting, like, a murder case, or you get to deal with that. That's a lot more fun.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast.
I cracked Dildo Gate. Let's go.
Tuesdays, we do it live. Saturdays, we post it later. People, we like the love. We love the hate. Rate our shows. Share our shows. Tell a friend. I appreciate it. We're your mother's favorite podcast.
Top 5.
Zach, I told one of my friends who is a loyal listener, I would give him a shout out because he texted me being like, I hope you feel better and this and that. And he works in pharma. And I said, in 3 sentences, tell me what the difference between big pharma and small pharma is. And he goes, big pharma, we have a bunch of money that only our shareholders matter. Small pharma, we have no money. Shareholders give us money. I thought it was a great definition.
He's a Sackler?
Tommy Two Tits.
Tommy Two Tits? Pretty good.
I think he's great. Zachy, we got a show planned for today. I don't know if I'm bringing the heat or bringing the fire, but I'm ready. Like, I feel a lot better.
Fish, at least.
I'm definitely. I'm bringing the fish. And isn't dog in, or dog is dog in Hebrew, right? That just says fish. It's the phonetic writing of it. But before we get into today's episode, I'm gonna come clean and just go ahead and do these bets. And I got two boingies ready to go right here for you.
I'm so excited. I was gonna say, are those water? Did you pour them and put water? And I want some hard alcohol.
I was thinking to myself, like, what could I do to get away with this? I was even debating on making a mixed drink at some point tonight.
This is a gentleman's bet, and it's so ungentlemanly of you.
Pretty much, but no, they've never been opened.
Social network. We're gentlemen of Harvard.
Never been opened, never been cracked, either one of them. Ew. And so you took a shot of the doctor. Now I can't
everything they had.
I can't call this one the doctor because it's the generic version. So is it the PA? Like, what am I calling this? Where it's just peppermint menthol, MENTHELE with apostrophe at the end of it. But this is ridiculous.
That's a male nurse. That's not a doctor.
Not a doctor, but
not a doctor.
Fire in the hole. Bottoms up for this one.
Let's see it.
Oh my god, it's so thick.
Oh, it's viscous.
You're not coming out.
What the fuck is that? It's like Crystal Pepsi. Drink it. Guzzle it, muscle lips. Let's see it.
I'm going to have to suck this. It's literally not coming out. It's like goo. I think I might have put syrup.
Start sucking. They don't call it a job for nothing.
Oh my god. I can't come out.
Oh. That counts as a half.
We'll do that. Anyway, let me get this other one done. This is just regular.
The nastiest thing I have ever seen. For anyone who's going to be listening to this, you got to watch that live. Edit no second of that out. I think I just saw a droplet drip down into something and land with a thud.
Star Blue distilled times vodka. By the way, I did this to myself. Last week, I easily could have just been like, it's my podcast. I'll drink one shot next week. Suck it up.
No, I would have gone bananas. Speaking of which, I had banana liqueur. There's some glug, glug, glug. There's some bubbles.
Ooh,
that was not good.
No.
Are you gonna boot? You're gonna spew into this.
To quote my older brother-in-law, whose birthday is tomorrow, I think he turns 40. I just turned in my 30-day chip. He doesn't drink ever, so like every time he's with me, he's like, "This is my 5-month chip. This is my 2-year chip."
The first one looked like Purell. It just looked like you were drinking hand sanitizer. And if they did that to you in the liquor store and messed with you and put a bottle of Purell, chef's kiss.
I'm not sure what happened, but this is terrible.
It was amazing. That was the best TV ever. I'm so happy I was there to see what that was.
Not great.
Exactly. Ron Kansas, take your fucking medicine. What's that water?
Oh, that is water, yeah.
I never once had water from mine. Let the record show.
Zachy, why don't you tell everybody what you are drinking?
I am stunned that this thing was in my fridge. This is literally the back of the fridge. I think somebody put this in there at some point and didn't tell me. This might be the year it's brewed. It might be the year I got it. Cronenberg 1664.
Oh, those are bad. From
I
Trader
know they're
Joe's.
not bad. I've had this house 8 years. I've never seen this anywhere in there. I've never seen anyone bring it. I've never bought it. It just showed up. Like the Cronenberg elves.
I think that's a Hanukkah part. I think that's like they come in 4-packs.
Blonde. What?
They come in literally come in 4-packs. And I think somebody brought it for your Hanukkah party. I forget who, but I definitely remember
drink
it.
this shit. Well, I'm gonna drink one of these. I guess the Cronenberg elves happened more in the 30s and 40s.
I'm not okay.
You're not okay. What are you drinking there?
I'm
literally again?
Yeah. I can't do beer yet. I'm not ready for it. I'm not. I knew I was taking 2 shots. I was like,
1.5 shots. Change.
I still have viscosity in my mouth from that thing.
Oh, it's so nasty. And it's not. It's like glue.
So Zachy, episode.
Jenna snuck it in. Never.
214. Calling this one
Private Parts.
What do you think we're talking about today?
People schmeckles.
Your favorite way of conversing. Actually, not far from it. And for
anybody. Ron Katsu is on fire right now. Drinking rum on the Upper West Side. How are things at home? Because he is bombed all the time.
He's living his best life. He really is having. Yeah, he's having a great time. I'm so happy
for him.
Better than that misery he used to be.
Misery that I am. He's the ghost of Christmas future. It seems pretty good.
Speaking of which, what about my teaser today? Do not ask where that picture came from. The old guy at Hooters. I was like, I hope that's me.
I don't know, man, but those bombs on them look pretty solid. Like they've aged, but the hardware hasn't.
The wings?
Exactly.
For anybody who's listening,
to open this thing, I guess I do.
Release the Kraken.
Thank you.
Usually you just fucking do it. Oh my god,
well,
214
playing the role of the concerned guy here for you.
That's not true. Very rarely do you even ask me about anything. Usually I just ask you stuff, then you just prattle on.
Yeah, but I ask how you're doing sometimes.
Anybody's listening or watching the show, if you've never seen the movie Private Parts, the Howard Stern story, it's hysterical.
It's the funniest movie in the world. And by the way, Giamatti, who's going to win Best Actor this year, should have won for that too, as Pig Vomit.
I think that might have been his big break even. That was the first time.
I
called him, even in Sideways, I was like, oh, it's Pig Vomit. I mean,
he was in Singles for about 2 seconds, young with really weird hair, but it was all good.
Happens. You know what I heard today on the news, and this isn't even the whole point of this episode. I don't know the exact story, but the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Lloyd Austin, which I misspelled typing how to spell Lloyd 100 times when I was writing this down. Do you hear what happened to him?
No.
So he kind of went a little MIA, and yeah, there was some stuff that happened. Some people got killed, and now he's getting the 5th degree about where's he been doing? What's going on? Really, the guy's been getting treatment for prostate cancer and had to come clean about everything. And I heard this on the news, and he's apologizing how, I try to leave a private life, but I didn't want to tell my business to everybody, and he didn't want to tell President Biden this, that. I'm thinking to myself,
clean should be the name of that liquor you just drank.
All I could think was, dude, it's your fucking world. You shouldn't have to tell anybody anything about the private parts of your life.
Well, people died. You may owe someone, you had to go to Dr. Jellyfinger. I don't know. It's okay. I think he owes, you don't owe details, but hey, I had a medical thing. It is what it is. You don't want to believe me, that's cool, but it's true. You don't have to say that. You don't have to go into
but he did, and it really bothered me. Granted, I'm a doctor adjacent, and
who said adjacent? Because that was spectacular. Who did?
The comedy show. They said us would say comedy adjacent, but it goes back to another. It goes back to Dallas. No, sorry, it goes back to Seattle. Josh, when he was naming his kid, and nobody ever wants to tell you the name before the kid comes out, and we're like,
who said it for the comedy adjacent?
Seth, Chicago Seth.
It was very good.
But Seattle Josh said, he's naming his kid something Jewish adjacent. And he ended up being Elliot, which I think was pretty Jewy. But it was pretty. He was the originator of that. It worked at the time. I guess just in the medical field, you have to draw a line of you can talk. I can't tell you about any famous patients I've really ever had because maybe they came to me for a toe injury. Maybe they came for me because they got a boob job. You have no idea. So they just say in the medical field, nothing. But dude,
what list is your most famous patient? B list, C, any A lister?
Ish.
You held Shaq's hog.
The most famous person. I think she won name some awards, a Pulitzer.
A Pulitzer?
Is that a big one? Like, what's the
Was
big
she
one for?
Mary Shelley?
No, not Maya Angelou, but like, what would Maya Angelou win an award for?
A Pulitzer.
Yeah,
Maya
yeah,
Angelou et al.
yeah. Yeah, Maya Angelou et al. I had a patient once.
What a famous black woman author.
Is that a big one? Like a
That's
Pulitzer?
the biggest, I think. Yeah, that was the Caldecott that those kids' books get stamped and make you read in high school or elementary school.
Would you just call it the Caltacocker?
Yes, the Caldecott. The Caldecott. It's like for kids' books.
Count a cock.
Caldecott. Frog protection. Jesus fuck. We are not on the same level.
Anyway, the whole thing about just having like private parts of your life, I heard this and I thought it was just one of those things that it really bothered me. I know it's not that big of a deal, but for anybody in the news, like you owe nobody an explanation. Nothing.
He owes me everything. I voted for him. Yeah. Maybe.
Zachy, I got an interesting question today from my roommate that I wanted to then pose to you. She comes in, she looks at me and goes, "Do you think that there's any way that they rigged the game on Sunday just to make sure Taylor Swift was in the Super Bowl?"
How much Fox News does she watch?
She doesn't even know what Fox News is. And I just looked at her and was like, are you really going to be one of those people? Because,
but wait, if you're going to ask anyone, you may not want to ask the Ravens fan that question. Like the Lamar just crapped the bed and you just took motor oil.
That's a better way of saying like, oh yeah, he took money. I said, the guy just got $300 million. Now, if you were going to be a conspiracy theorist as far as Ravens go, if the coaches were throwing the game and the defensive coordinator now has a head coaching job, that sure as shit looked like a team. They're like, yeah, just don't run the ball.
Yeah, football's the toughest one to tank. But it's not like basketball, you just shave points. Football takes a little more effort.
Which they did. Basketball, they got caught shaving points. Simple as that.
Not for Taylor Swift, for personal money.
So I then have a patient who, a really cool guy, really smart with football. And I come in today and I kind of do this like, do you want to hear what my wife said? And I couldn't finish my sentence quick enough. I say, apparently it's like 1 in 20 people believe that the NFL is rigged in the conspiracy. And he goes, oh, that's it? Well, in the room right now, it's at least 50%. And I looked at him. I went, no, I'm not saying I believe it. He goes, oh, no, I'm saying I do. I was like, what?
Oh, mother of God.
People really believe that the NFL is rigged. And I'm just like, I don't, it makes way too much money. There's no way.
It's totally no way. It's just a bad matchup for Baltimore. Even last week, you gave me this is not the team I want to see them play. Would you rather have the Ravens gone on the road to play anybody else or host the Chiefs? In general.
No, because see, as a Ravens fan, I remember going to New England and the Ravens drive down. They have a chance to kick a field goal for the win. Harbaugh doesn't call a timeout. Yeah. Hauschka runs out there. They shank the field goal. Do you remember this? Like them running on and being all frantic. And then we went back the next year to New England and beat the living piss out of them. Like
just this team is. I've been watching this team, but nevertheless, I think that I even said that is just the bad matchup for them. It's just. I think Mahomes
it is, but
head
we'll get over the hump. We're not the Buffalo Bills who just keep losing over and over in the postseason. Like the Ravens have always been that team where like, yeah, we lose, but then we get over it, and then we.
Yeah. You'll get your own Taylor Swift. Lamar will get some piece or something like Monica.
But when Julia said this to me, I just turned and I go, well, they make too much money. And then here's my big argument why I think the NFL is not rigged. Because too many people get brain injuries, put a gun in their mouth, and shoot themselves in the head. You don't think at some point they'd be like, oh, yeah, by the way, here's how the NFL's rigged?
Yeah, probably. It's not rigged. They don't give a shit who wins. Two teams show up, they make money. If both parties make it to the game where everyone's good, there have been some real duds of Super Bowls. You know what hasn't mattered? The ratings. They're all the same.
Well, these ratings have been great. Here's one I heard today. I was going to put this in the Pishadoo list, but let's just throw it in right now. Did you hear that the NFL awards are each individually sponsored?
What?
It is the Invisalign MVP.
It is the shameless
Procter & Gamble, I think, Coach of the Year. It is the Microsoft Surface Offensive Player of the Year. Each one is sponsored by something differently.
That is shameless. That should have been Pishadoo.
You can always pull back from any of the candidates if you want to throw it in the Pishadoo for later. But I heard that. I was like,
that guy who thinks it was rigged, he's Pishadoo.
He's pretty great.
If you think
Zach,
so.
some worlds collided this past week, and it wasn't that big of a deal for me, but I did go ahead and listen. I got a text from Little Mike talking about how Bill Simmons had Larry David on his podcast. And I mean, Little Mike was rock hard hearing the both of them talk, which
You didn't listen to me. I love both of them.
I can relate
They're
because
cool.
whenever Colin has Dana White on or starts talking about Joe Rogan, it's just like,
Yeah, that's
for me.
Dana
Like,
White and Colin for me. I love Bill. I listen to the Rewatchables religiously, and I love Larry. Dude, fucking Mike Simon.
Larry's a hang. Make sure it's an hour and a half. It's definitely worth listening to. There's some really good
1.5 speed.
Wait, where did Larry David go to college?
Oh my god, this fucking guy! And my dad's friend was in the same fraternity as him.
Yeah,
Larry was a senior, and this guy was great. Like the same time, Larry was a senior. This guy was a freshman. Larry was out of his mind. He was nuts.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So we started talking more today, and Little Mike is just like, he literally is my number one dinner date. And it sparks a conversation. I was like, that is not a bad question to think of. And he goes, well, who would yours be? And he goes, Colin. And I go, I don't think I'd have anything to add to the conversation. Like, I would just sit there like, so what do you think about this?
Who is my number one dinner date? Larry David would be on there. Gary Cohen might be on there.
That's more realistic. You could talk about stuff like Larry David. Like you can't just sit there and grill him about like. So in this episode, remember this one time at band camp? Like you can't do
anything. He doesn't give a fuck. So there was this stupid show. You probably ever watched it, The Marriage Ref, where like it was based on Seinfeld and Kelly Ripa's relationship. Where like when she had a fight, she used to call Seinfeld to settle it. So they did like half a season. It was hosted by some idiot, and they would get 3 celebs to settle real life marriage problems. It was funny, but terrible. One episode with the celebs were Ricky Gervais, Madonna, and Larry David. That was the panel. And Ricky Gervais couldn't get a word in. Madonna and Larry fought the whole time. And Madonna kept criticizing people's couches. And Larry goes, how could anybody ever have you over? You're so critical of furniture. And she goes, what? He goes, your couches must be spectacular. And she goes, they are. And he went after her like a lunatic. So yeah, you can talk to him about pretty much anything. I'm sure he'll have an opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure that was good. So no, my question was going to be your ideal dinner date. So those would be 1 or 2. I just know sitting there like, I don't know how much I could add to a conversation. And Simon goes, Colin talks for a living. Like, just sit there. I go, I talk for a living-ish.
Or like Jessie Jane, deceased.
Did we talk about this?
We did not, but no.
Somebody texted me that she died, and I go, I have no idea who you're talking about. Like,
you're welcome. That was me.
No, it was somebody else because I have the conversation still. But it is what it is. Zach, you feeling quirky? Want to eat some jerky?
I made a Mia Khalifa joke at you. It's not Mia Khalifa. You're not interested. Well, I heard some other stuff about you today with Irish girls and needing an accent in them. Well, with your little shillelagh. But that's a pod for a whole other day. When men were men, and that's a different story. So the Spurs mascot, did you see this? He caught a bat in a Batman suit. Jesus Christ. There was an actual bat in the arena the same night he's got this and a net. And Manu Ginobili was in the crowd to see it. Whack the bat.
That got actually made across my wavelength because they spelled his name wrong. It said Manu Ginobili. It didn't say Ginobili. It said like Manu Ginobili, where they spelled his name wrong. It said Spurs player from like 2002 to 2020 or something. I think I played like 20 years, whatever it was. I'm calling bullshit. As I just went off of how the NFL
they released an actual bat just for that, for this guy to catch it.
Absolutely. Maybe. You think there's just a random bat the night he's like, get out?
I don't know. He's done a lot of games. Scared the fuck out of Wembanyama apparently. The bat's flying around.
That didn't scare him. He was hungry.
Maybe. Did you hear that there were 3 Chiefs fans that like froze to death and stuff like that?
I think it was 5, and they were placed in It's bad.
Toxicology report confirms cocaine in their system. Revealed today. Cocaine undefeated.
I assumed that was an overdose, but like the fact they say that they were positioned in very peculiar ways, then they froze to death. That's story. Like that was a story that they didn't have all the details, so I kind of just skimmed it because I was like, I want to catch up with this one.
Details caught up today. Toxicology, cocaine. You guessed it. Frank Stallone. It's so good. So Joe Burrow says, "Let the guys taunt." And I was a Zay Flowers fan. I don't disagree. If it's funny or quick, the penalty takes longer than the taunt. You know,
Yeah, they're trying to
let
keep
'em-
everybody's,
as long
holster.
as it's not scatological, let them have it.
You want him to shit on the guy?
Right, as long as they're not faking shit or like putting the ball out of their ass. That's where I draw the line. Scatological, or at least
Wait,
make
wait,
it
wait.
funny.
He takes the ball. The guy takes the ball and wipes his butt. Not the same thing as reaching in and pulling actual feces out.
No, if you even pantomime scatological, you've lost me. Maybe. But if he squats over the guy and the ball falls out behind it on the guy, you got me back. I'm back in. That's
If you
funny.
can what if you use the ball as the prop and you
You
just
have to
turn
use the
around and
ball
go
as the prop.
and you drop it and you just drop it on the guy?
It's funny once, maybe twice, but you can't go too long with it. It comes funny again week 18. It comes back. Okay. Now, if you know me, you know that my favorite thing in the world is a tasering. Number 2, airplane meltdown. Drunk
Really?
JetBlue dragged off some guy getting the shit. I've had a million of these on this fine program. Drunk JetBlue passenger held down by fellow flyers after becoming aggressive as girlfriend begs him to stop. The video is okay. It's this British guy. He's belligerent. It's like blue background. She's screaming. And then you hear one of the passengers go, "Take him down." And they all just drop him. A big guy, too. He was harassing the staff. He'll probably get paid by JetBlue so that this thing does. It's all blue and it's a disaster.
They always win money. They
They
always get paid.
Yeah, win is the key word. They win money. Like, he got whooped a little bit by fellow passengers because at that point, you could have at them.
This will never make a top 10 of mine, but I'm literally tearing up laughing of during the pandemic on United when that like Indonesian doctor, they're like, "Sir, you have to leave," and he just goes limp at the.
They're dragging him out, and he got paid.
He got like $15,000. He got so much money.
Yeah,
but he went limp just being.
It's pretty good. But the one that really bothered me the most, and this could be Pishadoo also, Alyssa Milano.
Oh, on my list. You sunk my submarine.
Yeah. Setting up a GoFundMe donation for her son's baseball trip. Now,
did you see how much it was for?
She stooped Brad Penny, so that's something. It was like $10,000, right? It was some nominal amount.
$5,000, which is sewn. She must make that in Who's the Boss reruns.
So the fundraiser seeking $10,000, but
I thought she was doing 5 and it was 5. My point being, she makes that in syndication, right? Like that is
Charmed. Who's the Boss? Just being hot, like just being Alyssa Milano. How many Maxim covers was she on with their chi-chis out?
This is one of those things where
so
I always
awful.
like to pick a number. How much is her net worth? 10 million, 20 million,
maybe
whatever it is. If you extrapolate that to like what you make a year, it's the equivalent of like $3.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And you know what? I'm not giving her $3. She can give me $3.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, like, if your kid needs something, like, she's trying to show him the value of $1. It was a very tone-deaf thing. I did see that.
I can't stand her. I still would. I love her.
Oh, yeah.
She's incredible. You know what? There is a world where I give her $10,000. It's not for her kid's baseball team, though. I got a lot more than that.
Zach,
but it's on the table. That's what I got.
You had some fire last week, but what you watching?
Oh, nothing new.
Yeah, you went too hard.
I went too hard in the paint. We did watch The Holdovers, the Giamatti movie. Actually, excellent. I thought it was great.
We're gonna start as soon as I have I've been a single parent all week, Zach. Right. As soon as I get my wife back.
I have problems of my own. Last night, in the middle of us watching Slow Horse, before that, I get a text from my mother who's renovating her bathrooms, plural. One of them is in. One of them is broken up and destroyed. I have to come and stay at your house tonight.
Nope.
I go, what?
Busy.
I go, busy. It's 8 o'clock at night. She knows I'm not busy. I might have to stay at your house tonight. I go, why? Because our toilet's broken. The workers took a shit in there or something, and it's like not flushing. I said, so what do you mean? Is Albert, her stepfather, coming too? She goes, no, he's okay to use the gym in the basement. I go, why don't you use the gym in the basement? She goes, I'm not going down there at 3 a.m. I go, what hooligan is working out at 3 a.m.? She goes, what will people break in? I go, so they're going to break in and go into the basement bathroom? What are you doing? She goes, I need to come up there. I go, can't you just pee in the tub?
I was going to say, does she not have a pot to piss in? Literally?
Literally, yeah. So she's got all of that. She shows up, middle of the show, just commandeers the whole thing. It's real chatty. Um, then we pull out the little ottoman bed for her. That cat immediately jumps on top of her. So there's that. Um, it was a harrowing experience. So there's that.
Okay.
We're watching Oscar movies and slow horses, but we'll get to some of those other things that Ron Katz recommended and you recommended. What are you watching? Nothing.
Oh my God.
I know what you're watching.
I had so much I wanted to tell you last week, and you just prattled on, and then that was it. Never asked me. I'm actually going to hold off on what I'm watching, but I did want to tell you about something I heard about that got me a little excited. Do you know they're doing a Black Mirror limited edition spinoff from the Jesse Plemons USS Callister, the Star Trek episode? They're doing
that
like
episode I didn't like, and then I sat with me, and then really I liked it a lot. Like it was a slow burn for me.
Those are the best Black Mirrors is when they start making you think. But they're doing like a 3 or 4 episode miniseries based on that episode, which I heard the other day. I was like, I am very excited for that.
I like that pushing stuff. What are you doing? All the buttons do the same thing. It's such a great line.
Yeah, I'll get to my Whatcha Watchin next week, but I have a Hippa Hop Anonymous that I wanted to ask you about / comment on.
All right.
You know my feelings on cats. The more dead, the better they are.
Even the one sitting on top of my mom last night.
I go to a patient's house, and I absolutely love these people, and I do believe they are something in the jewelry industry. Their cat was not wearing a loose collar. Their cat was wearing a necklace.
What?
Thoughts?
I don't like
this was one of those like, wait, animals were jewelry? Like, what's going on?
That's not good.
Not good, right? I thought that was like now.
And they wonder what the terrorists hate us. By the way,
but like my patient, the family, they're the most normal people in the world. This was one of those like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, they got a family in their freezer. It's just
anyway.
I don't know. That's the same. That's worse than a pinky ring. That's a cat jewelry.
Pishadoo of the week. I have 13 candidates here, in addition to anything else that I've said. Let's get through these.
My mom for staying over last night.
I kind of forgot some from back in the day, and I'm not sure what's going to win here, but let me just get through this. Candidate number 1. I'll be honest. When I'm playing fantasy sports, my goal is to make my money back. I'm not going to be a professional fantasy person. I play in way too many leagues for way too much money. My goal is when it's all said and done, if I can break even or get close to it, in addition to get to talk some shit because you win some leagues, great. Well, one of my leagues I get, and it's always very lopsided, right? It's like first place $800, second place $200. Like, right.
Good.
So I'll be very honest, if I'm ever at that, because even when I have the much better team, it's such a goddamn coin flip at the end. Like the guys who win you fantasy championships are the 4th-string running back and some asshole quarterback that, Joe Flacco is the one, carried me to one championship, right? And I'm talking to some guy who I had to like first Facebook friend him because I'm not really, it was like a friend of a friend in a league. And this was one of the leagues that was very lopsided. And I go, hey man, look, this is very lopsided. It's 800, 200. I said, why don't we each take like 400 and we'll play for the other 200. Like I always want to leave something out there to make it just a little bit more. The guy responds with, hey man, yeah, good luck to you. So things are actually really bad financially right now. And I lost my job. I'd rather actually play it out because I need the money. And I was like, wait a minute. No, don't you rather take the guaranteed money? And so like,
I like them. I would never split it.
It's not a split. It's a.
I would never get. I'm going for it. I'd rather do winner take all than your suggestion.
Oh yeah. So the guy said he needs money. Guess what happened?
He lost.
He beat the shit out of me.
Good for him.
He won.
Good for him. I would rather just in general. Second place, get nothing. Winner take all. Let's dance. Old school.
Now again,
Russian roulette. One bull in the chamber.
Tenzi.
Exactly.
Zach, I'm literally not a professional gambler. I'm just trying to break even and have a good time.
I honestly would rather just win. For me, it's about the winning. The action is the juice, as they say in Heat. The winning, the money is fun. I don't want to be one of those guys who nickel and dimes. Most points, second place, break even, great. I would trade all of that for a win. All of it for a win.
You still get the win. It's literally just covering it. But I forgot Mr. Too Rich
not
over
always.
there.
I lost in the semis, so didn't make any money in that. But I won first place in the regular season and most points. I won money in a league, but didn't win dick. I don't want it.
Candidate number 2. This is going back a little bit. There was a TikTok trend a little while ago. apparently women were trending on TikTok for taking bumps of caviar.
I saw that.
What in the hell?
I don't know. I don't get it.
You're
I don't
not
get it.
getting you're not getting a high off of it. If anything,
And
you're
you don't
getting
taste it. You're just being an idiot.
you're just going to Booger City with some caviar. Like what the
Yeah.
hell? Okay, that was one of those
I don't get it. Yeah, that's high on my list. I forgot about that.
Staying on the talk, they've officially made a ruling that now TikTok can't use Taylor Swift, Elton John, and a bunch of other artists, their music on the platform because they're not being compensated. Zach, who the hell goes to TikTok to listen to 30-second clips of any song ever? Like
Me for every song ever. They should be compensated.
I don't. Why?
Because it's America. It's capitalism. You wrote a thing, you should get money for it.
You're just using a song for a quick little 15, 20, 30, 60. Like you're not
You know
listening to the
what?
full song.
Right. Go write your own fucking song and use it. You go be Taylor Swift. Yeah, this is America. You write the song, you get the money.
All right. Talking about singing songs and writing money, I've been getting so many
Writing
advertisements.
money.
Making money.
Yeah.
I've been talking about singing songs and making money. I've been getting all these advertisements for this African Joy Flicks, I think it's called. Have you seen this yet?
No.
Okay. I haven't seen an actual one, but it's kind of like a big African troupe where you like pay them money, $40, $50, $60, and they do
The Nigerian princes?
happy birthday to Zach. And then the guy like flips over and around and they're like, you tell us the name. We'll do a whole
October
song.
17th, all of you, I want this.
I saw this. I was like, this is the dumbest shit ever.
What do they cost?
It's like Cameo. I'll click it next. Believe me, I'm sure I'll get it now. It's Cameo, but they have a bunch of African kids doing a song and dance for your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tommy
I'm
likes
in.
it. All right.
I'm in. I want it.
God. Okay. You don't know who Ryan Garcia is, right? He's a
Sounds like an outfielder.
super famous boxer. He's young. He's got these like lightning hands. He had his first big boxing match and he lost, which you know those guys when they're 27-0 and you lose one, it's like, and
Kareem Garcia. Oops.
back to Taco Bell. He had a baby and posted a beautiful picture on Instagram. This is about a month ago. And then 1 hour later, a long post about him and his wife getting divorced.
What?
Yeah, it was like,
Jesus.
not a good look. It's like, congrats. Oh, and after this new precious kid, my wife, I mean, this is like a long thought. I assume he just wanted to break up with her, but right after she had the baby, 1 hour later.
Wow. He sent her packing?
Yeah, he makes money. He's like a good looking young boxer guy on Instagram and also was doing well until he lost a fight.
It happens.
Do you know who Austin Butler is? You've seen him in movies, right?
Yeah.
What is he famous for?
I have no idea.
Okay. He was Elvis in the Elvis movie.
Yeah. He was in other stuff too. He's like young, tall. He did SNL. He had the hair. Right.
You know when he did the Elvis movie, he like put them, his method acting.
Yeah,
he had the
really
accent.
got into it.
Apparently, he can't get rid of the accent. Like if you see him in anything now, like he's in a new thing.
He's Elvis. He's
having
Elvis.
He has to hire like a dialect coach to help him unlearn he can't stop.
Good for him.
You think that's committed. Really getting into it?
Yeah, he went all in.
Oh God.
I'm liking so many of these. Maybe I'm an asshole.
There's some good ones. You saw that the Taylor Swift AI images were banned from okay.
X.
What did people think was going to happen when AI images, which are only getting better online, and sometimes I use AI to make some of our covers and some of our different artwork, but when you can do this stuff, how long before it's Big Bird having sex with Sylvester Stallone? Like all this stuff is going to happen.
Wait.
You're in. If you're famous enough, If you're famous enough, you'll be in it as well.
There's Rambo 5. Big Bird ramming Stallone's bow.
We're only at candidate 8, but this is my personal favorite. There was some dog that made it to the Guinness Book of World Records or some record holding out of Portugal, some type of breed, 31 years old. And it was this great thing. And then apparently they're going back and being like, hold on, no fucking dog lived 31 years. And they're doing like a whole
They're Danny Almonteing him?
They're reversing the process going, because like, do you know how many patients I have that have dogs? I'm like, oh, how old is little Fluffy? And they go, yeah, I don't know. Like he could be 10, he could be 8. We have no idea. Like there's no chance.
God.
There's also
31 years.
Also, no chance this dog is 31 years old.
No
That
one's
died. Like,
31. Yeah.
it's like 200 some years in humanity. Like, get the fuck
It's
out of here.
impossible.
Number 9 was my Alyssa Milano story. The next one is also a really good one, though, which I think could have won on a different week. Zach, do you know who Carolina Shino is? Shino?
No.
I might not be saying that right.
No
Well,
idea.
she is. Here's what she looks like, just so you can see. Nice.
Tilted.
I'm tilted.
Like her.
Like her.
I like her.
She won Miss Nippon. Because even though she is Ukrainian born, she's born and raised in Japan, and she is now the new Miss Japan. And people are like, no, I don't want some Ukrainian bitch being Miss Japan. And I got to be honest, if I'm typing in Japan or Japanese in my search bar, I don't want her to come.
What's the next word?
Coffee talk. Like, I don't know.
Payloads, yen loads, loads of yen.
I do not care how racist this sound. I do not want some Ukrainian chick coming up when I type in Japanese in my search bar. Not okay with it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Right?
You should get what you should get what you're looking for. You should get what
she is. She's Miss Nippon, which I also was like, oh, are we allowed to say that?
Well, we just did. And I didn't either.
Candidate.
I don't like it.
Candidate number 11. New York City has had a couple moments this past week where I've read online like, whoa, I'm all for liberal stuff, but like, what the hell are we doing? 2 teachers in Brooklyn got in a lot of trouble because they're doing a lot of pro-Palestine propaganda in elementary school, including where, did you see that they sang the wheels on the bus, but they changed it to the wheels on the tank, and they just changed every line to like,
see that.
Oh, it was not good.
It's not good.
I read this, and I'm like,
it's a Gots to Fire situation.
It is, but they're not. They're doing like this is their right to talk. I'm like, oh, this is way too.
They need to get hit with a ruler.
The kids?
The kids, the teachers, anybody. Like the penguin in the Blues Brothers.
I saw this story today.
Only Ron Katz gets that reference.
I had to read this story on Facebook twice because I wasn't quite sure. This is a friend of a friend on with Facebook who posted, she did one of those like picture at a concert, then like a movie. And it was this whole long, like, so excited. We got to see one of our idols from growing up. Center row orchestra. We saw an Elvis impersonator do a whole set of music.
God, that's
and
awful.
I had to reread it being like, they must have meant somebody else, right? But this girl goes on and on about how she was such a big fan of Elvis growing up, and she went and sat like 5th row center to see an Elvis impersonator.
That's ridiculous. I sat 2nd row for Gutenberg the musical. It was good.
Yeah, that's a real Broadway show. This is a person literally doing karaoke. It's Austin Butler light.
Yeah, it's true. It's not good.
But
cute.
My favorite
shout out
story
to Grammy.
of the
Excellent tickets. Thank you for the tickets to Gutenberg.
My favorite story of the week was some mobster who's low on life. It kind of sounded like a Jack Ruby situation. Segue 2, broke into the Judy Garland Museum and stole Dorothy's ruby slippers because they thought they had actual rubies on the slipper and they were going to be able to sell them for a lot of money.
That's ridiculous.
Do you know that Hollywood, they use something called props where the things aren't actually real?
Yeah, I do. I've seen that. I would have stolen like the dress or Toto or something, like stuffed Toto. Something that's not quite as obvious.
Toto, not alive.
Well, stuffed. I'm sure they stuffed him.
Toto 12, maybe.
I'm sure they gave him the tax attorney. That kind of thing. Tax attorney.
Tax attorney.
Wasn't that like a Better Call a Tax Attorney, a taxidermist? That was a commercial.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Idina Menzel.
Something like that. Is it Idina Menzel?
Fantasy Split gets turned down, doing bumps of caviar on TikTok. No more Tay-Tay on the talk. African Joyflix saying happy birthday to you, Zach. Ryan Garcia has a baby, then says he's getting a divorce. Austin Butler getting a dialect coach. AI images of everything and people not thinking that was going to happen. The dog lived to 31 years. I don't think so. Alyssa Milano, I did have that in there. Carolina Shino, Miss Nippon. New York City, the wheels on the tank go round and round. Somebody that I'm Facebook friends with who was over the moon to see an Elvis impersonator and stealing Dorothy's not exactly ruby red slippers.
Honestly, I'm going early on this. I think it's the caviar. It really bothers me. It's so bad. And Ron Katz, to answer your question, I actually don't remember or know. It wasn't anyone really famous to me. I was told who it was, and I still don't remember. Somebody. Jenna, put it in the chat who the producer was. I don't remember who it was. Anyway, go on. I think it was the caviar people.
Boozer.
Yeah,
Boozer Daddy of the podcast. Thanks for listening to tonight's episode. We had fun. We're going to keep doing this, hopefully getting back to a more normal schedule. Zach, I know he's great. I know he's famous. Have you seen Patrick Mahomes' dad bod? Is this allowed?
Yeah.
He's a fat fuck.
Yeah. And he's my idol because he's got the same bod I've got, but he's winning Super Bowls.
We out.
He's heading over the belter. Good for him. You know those Andy Reid commercials with his nuggies? Yeah, he's fucking eating. How many takes you think that took?
Huge. He is so fat.
Yeah, he's so fat. How'd your QB do against him? Your guy's pretty fit.